Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to discuss about how the user interface is getting rendered in OpenUI. If you look at my present view, I'm in account list view. When I click the account list view here, my browser client requests server to fetch all the information for this view. Siebel server responds back, and the response is actually captured as a property set and it is passed to the JavaScript files. If you look at the JavaScript files, they already have a set of functions that understand the property set that is being sent from the server. They pass the property set, they understand the property set, and they perform all the action of actually showing the applet, taking the uh, applet's properties, the functions, and everything into consideration. So, to give you an example, let's say I'm in a paint window. Okay, this is my plain screen. I want to add a rectangle here that is like my applet. I use an applet class. This is an applet class. So Siebel built a set of classes, predefined classes. I instantiate an applet class. Sorry. I instantiate an applet class and create an applet. Now, the applet has some properties like the length and width. It has some, let's say, some text on it, some functionalities. So all the functionalities, properties, everything is maintained in one file. That is the presentation model. The UI look and feel, how it looks like, how it is colored, uh, how the data inside is rendered, and everything is maintained by another file called present physical renderer. So I can give you an example of how this list applet is getting loaded. When the view is clicked, Siebel web engine gets a response from the server and it parses all the list columns information to the applet. Now the applet has a presentation model attached to it. The presentation model gets the property set as an input. It uses the setup method in PM to parse all the property set values and create the objects. Once the property set is understood in the setup method, once the data is the seed data, the repository data is understood, it adds all the methods for the applet using the init functions. So on focusing a control, it should do some action. On change record, it should do some action. It should change the record context, and all the actions that are logically supported are maintained in PM, presentation model. And how the applet is looking like, how the data is getting added to the applet, and how the actions on the applet, like a drill down, everything is getting functioned, is actually maintained in PR. In physical renderer, it actually creates the UI that we see here. The actual list is getting created from the PR file. The PM gives you an option to customize the methods. Like when I change record, I should, let's say, throw an error or do some action. It can be done by adding the change record method in the PM and writing a custom script. In PM setup method, even if a list column is added, we can remove the list column, we can delete it from the PM. Even if there is no list column added, we can add a list column like this select column that we see here. The select column that we are seeing here doesn't have a list column defined in the applet level, and it doesn't have a field map to it. This is actually purely created from the PM. This will enable us to create multiple records and do an action on multiple records in one go, let's say delete or some other action. So to give you an overview, presentation model contains the properties of your applet. It contains the functions, functionalities, the events that an applet can hold, and you can extend the events that the applet can do from a PM file. A PR file will have all the information of how applet is looking in the UI. It can be a list, it can be a carousel model, or it can be something like a map or anything like that. It it gets the data and it displays it according to its model. We can customize how the data can be displayed in a PR. So in my subsequent videos, I'll be explaining about each and every method in PM and PR files. Thank you.